Today, like right here, right now, I'm going to share with you 3 simple ways that you can get more referrals in your real estate business. Before I dive in, I want to give a shout out to my friend Sharon Srivatsa, who mentored me on these exact things. Point number 1 is watch your language. Oftentimes we speak cryptic. Guys, think about it. We're speaking to the general public, and yet we talk to them as if they're real estate agents. As real estate agents, we understand that getting and giving referrals means something specifically. When you're saying that to a client, hey, I'm never too busy for your referrals, they might know what that means, but they might not. Wouldn't it be a tragedy to have somebody that's listening to that in good faith wants to support you, but they don't know exactly what that means. They don't know what you're talking about. A word that we know everybody understands is introductions. You might just simply go back and look at the times where you've asked people for referrals, or you've said, I'm not too busy for your referrals. I'm not too busy for the introductions that you could bring to me of people who are needing to buy and sell property. Like, be very specific. Be sure that your language is very, very clear. I remember at one point I was having a conversation with a real estate agent, and he had asked me for introductions specifically to sellers. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. This is before I was in the industry. And he was very specific about he wants to work with sellers. And so I began to look for sellers. I was able to give him a referral to a seller because I knew what he was talking about. He was very specific. So if you want specific results, give specific insight. Be sure your language is precise and that the people who are listening to you actually know what you're talking about. Okay, point number 2 is training. All too often we see on social media, in our emails, people talking about how grateful they are for the people that have supported their business. You know what I'm talking about, especially around the end of the year. You'll see people put out these big collages of thank you to all of our clients we served this year, right? Not a terrible idea, not a terrible idea at all. In fact, I think it's a decent idea. I think it's a good idea. Here's another way beyond just saying, hey, here's somebody with keys at closing. Rather than doing that, what my friend Sharon taught me is to actually share the breadcrumbs. In other words, how did you get referred to that person? How did you get introduced to that person? What did that look like? Say, actually tell the story of my friend who's a CPA, was dealing with his clients, and he understood that their clients were going to be making a move, right? Like, actually walk people through the process. One, it's a better story. And here's a key, is that people remember stories better than they remember facts. So if you want to get people to remember you, if you want to get people to remember, not just understand the breadcrumbs of how you got a referral, of how you got an introduction, but to actually remember it, then I think it's a really important thing for you to actually tell a story, and tell the story of how that client got into your life, and tell the story of how you served that client. The more that we start to tell the tale of other people who have come into your life through an introduction, through a referral, now all of a sudden people know what to do. And in their mind, they're looking for those opportunities. Whether they recognize it or not, you've now trained them on how to refer you. Now, quick note, I've actually created something really interesting for everybody listening here. It's called the Ultimate Guide to 10x Your Warm Referrals. Since we're talking about referrals, this is really relevant. It's in the show notes. It's a quick, easy download. It gives you the ability to understand how you can take your sphere-based referral business and expand it to also a professional network. So be sure and download that. And the third point is this: you need to demonstrate. Now, here's what I mean by that. There are professionals in your marketplace, in your life, people who you are sending your business to. Could be an insurance agent, could be a CPA, could be a lender, could be an attorney, could be a property manager, right? The list goes on and on. Could be a financial advisor. All of these people already have a warm market. Now you can continue to grow your warm market incrementally day after day, adding one person here, one person there, or you can go add one person who already has a warm market and do the right things with that person. And in essence, you can adopt their entire existing warm market. It's so much faster. I'm telling you, it's so much faster. But here's what you need to do in order to unlock that referral opportunity. And it's this: actually reach out to them to say, hey, I've realized I've never shared with you what my client process looks like. I would love to spend just a few minutes with you, maybe 15 minutes, walk you through what I do to serve my clients. And let me tell you why I want to do that. I want to do that because I want to learn at what point it might be appropriate for me to weave you into that conversation. Did you catch that? Did you catch how cool that was? Is it you're wanting to go and actually sit down with your existing providers or professionals in the marketplace who are serving people who are going to need a real estate agent at some point. And they have the relationship, they have the influence to be able to refer that person. And now you're simply saying, I want to spend a few minutes with you so I can share with you my client process. Now, before I get to the last part, the unique thing about this is that no one else has done this before. No one else understands the process. So are you going to stand out? In the words of my friend Sharon Srivatsa, they're going to choose the person who is the most top of mind to refer, right? They're going to choose the real estate agent that's most top of mind. And you're going to stand out because you've actually walked them through your client experience. They understand it now. When I was authoring my book, The Upstream Model, which you can see right over my shoulder and also get in the downloads, when I was authoring this book, I interviewed dozens of financial advisors. And here's what I uncovered, which you're going to find is super fascinating, is that on average, a financial advisor can refer a real estate agent 18 times a year. 18 times a year. Can you imagine what would that do for your business? Here's the other really interesting thing is that most of those financial advisors were not referring any of that business to a real estate agent. 18 at-bats and they give none of it. Why? Because they're uncertain about your client process. They're uncertain about what it looks like when they refer somebody to you, of how well you're going to take care of them. This process of going and sitting down with that advisor and helping them to understand your client process takes away that uncertainty. It takes away the fear of what happens when I refer this person. What happens when I introduce this person, my client, to this real estate agent? What is the process? You walking through that is going to give them the assurity, the confidence to move forward in referring you, and you're going to stand out a lot more. And lastly, again, the whole motivation for you doing that is so that you can figure out how to weave them into your client process. You know how good that sounds in the ears of the person on the other side of the table, the other professional, of I want to see how I can weave you into my client experience. Now, I've learned a lot on this topic. In essence, I wrote a book on this topic, right? So there's a lot of things I have to share with you. Here's the important thing, is that these professionals will refer you when you offer enough value to them. They will. You just have to figure out how to do that. And this process right here gives you a value proposition of you coming to them saying, I have something I want to give to you. I have something I want to offer to you. I'm coming with value. I'm not coming to say, here's a stack of my cards, please refer me. No, I'm coming to learn how I can weave you into my client experience. And when you weave somebody into your client experience, they look to start doing the same thing in return. That's when referrals start to flow. These 3 points, these concepts are going to make getting referrals no longer feel like you're pushing a giant boulder uphill. It's going to start to feel like you're pushing a boulder downhill. Sure, you've got to move it. Sure, you've got to do some effort, but pretty soon it starts to catch momentum. This is an opportunity, again, for you today to learn, take these 3 principles and start to do them today and start to get referrals right away. Guys, I'm thrilled to be the person that you look to help grow your real estate business. For anybody that wants to get unstuck, please do not hesitate reaching out to me. It's my life's work to do this. So give me the joy of helping you get unstuck and take your business to the next level. And my final request of everybody listening here today are these 3 simple words, and they are: go think bigger. Let's go.